Hey, greetings, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, I'm here at my repair shop, Donor Auto in Anchorage, Alaska. And this here is a 2000 GMC. It's actually a K2500. So this has the old 5.7 vortec in it. And this customer is complaining of a no start situation where the vehicle cranked but didn't start. Then intermittently it would start, but then have no power. So he'd be driving down the road, and the minute that there was a load, it would die. So he got it here. I don't know how he drove it here, but it was driven here. And then when I went out, he gave me an in-depth description as well of the symptoms. Usually we got to waterboard people just to get basic information, but this guy had a lot of information, kind of too much info. He had done a bunch of things. He replaced the throttle position sensor, the idle air control solenoid. They removed the throttle body and cleaned it. They cleaned the mass airflow sensor and whatnot, but all to no avail. So I went out to start it, didn't run. I let it sit for a while, then it started. And the fuel pump sounded quiet, sounded normal, but I figured I would check fuel pressure because this vehicle is very sensitive to proper fuel pressure. And that is because of the injection system that this vehicle has. This has the CSFI. It uses poppet valve injectors as long as they haven't updated the injection system, which I don't believe they have. It does require good fuel pressure for this thing to even run. You really need the specified pressure, I think it's 55, in order for it to even start. So there's that, old school distributor cap back there, which are very problematic. But in this case, I really think we're dealing with the fuel related issue. So I've installed my pressure gauge, and as you can see, tapped in back there to the fuel pressure port, which is on the left rear of the motor. And you can get a pretty inexpensive pressure gauge to do this. That can be adapted to Ford or GM and others. But we should be able to engage the fuel pump by just turning the key on briefly, and it should energize the pump and create 55 PSI. And there's what we got. We've got a whole 10 pounds of pressure, which that is not going to cut it. I don't know how it even ran. But if you cycle it here, keep cycling it, we're gaining, and the pitch of the pump changes. You can hear it back here. But even after all that, we're only developing 20 PSI. And that's never going to cut it in this case. So we need to replace the fuel pump module, and we're also going to do the filter at the same time, because when these pumps fail, you can very well clog up the filter with a bunch of carbon from the vanes of the pump, which, by the way, has got 80,000 miles. So for whatever reason, we get a lot of these. This could have been used up on the North Slope where they drill oil, and it's very cold. They can idle them all the time up there. So it could have had a lot of idle time. Who knows for sure, but I've seen fuel pumps fail at 70,000 miles on these. Not uncommon, clear up into the late 2000s for fuel pump failures. Still not sure if GM's fixed that yet, but the newer pumps are better. So anyway, I'm going to get an OE, a Delphi pump, which you can find those aftermarket, $250 or less, maybe even Amazon, I don't know. And we'll replace the filter with quality filter, and we'll give this thing a try. Okay, here's that Delphi pump that we used. There's a few different options based on, is it a California? It's got the fuel tank pressure sensor. That'll be a separate sensor mounted to the tank. It's going to come with the updated wiring harness, and you'll need to splice that in. I've already done that, and I'm waiting for some fuel to evaporate before I get my heat gun out on it. Oh, I don't want to blow myself up, so use caution. And of course, this video isn't about replacing the fuel pump. It's about diagnosing a no-start condition. So I think we've wrapped this one up, and we'll throw a filter on, get this thing out of here. I appreciate you watching. Hope this video was helpful, and I will catch you next time. Have a good one.